Hi there, this is Sandra with Brew City Thrifts, and today I am in Waukesha County at the Waukesha Goodwill, which is it's a Monday today, and I'm usually here on Fridays when I think they restock more frequently. So I'm not really sure what the pickings are going to be like today, but we're going to give it a shot. So let's hit it. So one of the first things I see is this lovely clear glass crystal paperweight with a flying dove. It is a Mats Jonasson paperweight and it's signed. I don't think you can see it, but that definitely is something I'm going to bring with me. So my favorite place to do my picking is the tchotchke aisle, and I love to look at things that are just unusual. So I picked that up just because I was like, what is that? Some sort of blue glass. I don't know what it is. Probably the top to some, maybe it had a matching glass bottom. There I'm looking at a Snoopy figurine. Obviously Peanuts, vintage Peanuts is a good find when you're out treasure hunting. I'm attracted to that ceramic pumpkin for a moment. I'm not sure why I didn't take a closer look at that that sewing machine with the mice. It was probably a resin piece, but it looks quite detailed, and it looks like it might have been something rather interesting, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I was really more interested in this ceramic hand-painted vintage plate, which I took a look at, and it is a nice plate, but I wasn't in love with it, so I moved on to this ice cream cone. And then I finally was taken by this piece of glass, and with a metal lid with a wooden handle. Honestly, I think I just took it because I didn't know what the heck it was. It was like, this is weird and unusual. I don't know what it is. I'm taking it with me to find out. I do love crowded shelves, but sometimes they make me very nervous. I obviously was a little freaked out by almost breaking that little angel figurine. This pottery mug has a beautiful glaze on it, and I definitely think it's got some age. And I looked at it for a moment before moving on, and then was looking at another figurine briefly before suddenly noticing what? I had just been thinking about vintage Snoopy and Peanuts items, and here I have an actually amazing Snoopy music box. It is, as you can hear, still works. Everything looks in place. I'm not seeing any major chips or breaks. Checking it out again to see how old it might be, and that is definitely a wonderful find. I'm paying up at $12.99, but it's worth it. I neglected to film when I found these two hand-carved wooden bird figurines. Again, I love items made out of wood and natural materials, so I think these are really fantastic. That one has a crack, but I don't think it really detracts from the bird, so those two went in my cart. I always like looking at the trinket boxes, and this little stone trinket box from India with the shell inlay is one of my favorite things to pick up. But here I saw a marble. It had turned out to be an Italian marble trinket box in some very 1980s colors with a chunky marble flower on top, and I ended up taking that with me. It's not totally my style, but I was going to give it a whirl. And then I noticed this Mexican terracotta box, lidded box, and it looked intact. It had a Mexican design on it with a sticker. And so I put it in my cart, but I did end up putting that back on the shelf. And then I noticed this blue English container. It is Baret Ware. I love the blue color there. I believe it has some birds of paradise on it, and so I put it in my cart as well. And this is a moment of, what am I doing? Or I pick up this glass buffalo figurine. It's hollow, it's contemporary, yet somehow in the moment I find it a bit irresistible, so I took it home with me. And then I spy it, this unusual pottery pot. I pull it out and it looks like it's got some age. And then I'm so confused in this moment. I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's got what appears to be a spout on the same side as a single handle. I am just very perplexed. I do like that it's unusual. I do like that it's got age. It looks like something that was used and useful. And so I had no idea what it is, but I'm going to take it with me. And also, right away, I see this El Palomar candlestick with a lovely, just a lovely design. And even though it's a single one, I know I'm going to take that with me as well. And here we go from Beauty, this cute little angel, although she's got a little break there, to the Beast. Look at that awesome octopus on this lovely glazed pottery by Joyce Foy in 2018. That's going in my cart. It's a beautiful candle votive holder. I love it. And after admiring this brass teapot, I see this to the left, that Mexican Talavera candlestick. I put it in my cart, but I ended up putting it back. If I had a second one, I think I might have kept it. And this boxed Floreyville snowman is coming home with me because I collect them. I actually decorate in the winter time with these snowmen all over the house. My mom started me on the collection, so I am taking that with me. And then I see this handmade wooden tractor toy, and that's a bit of an addiction for me, and it's coming with me too. I noticed this small pottery vase right away in the vase aisle. It's signed. It looks like Katie or Kathy H. And it's maybe just a hobbyist piece, but I really like the glaze. I like the speckled look of this and the design. So I put it in my cart. And right over here, I see this Dragon Ware pitcher. It's got a lovely design. I like the gray color of the glaze in the background of the dragon, which is in raised relief in a white color with blue eyes. I'm looking here for a mark on the bottom. And it does have a mark, but it's not something that I can interpret. But I do think it's a really pretty Dragon Ware piece, so I take that as well. continuing my search amongst the vases, I noticed this milk glass picture, and this seems to be potentially bohemian glass, but as I look at it a little more carefully, it doesn't seem to be old enough, and the quality is not really there. So there's a beautiful pink color glass vase, and then of course the ceramic container, which was really cute, and then a little bit of blue glass. I'm sorry, what is that color? Green. This little sunflower vase is really pretty. It's clearly contemporary and probably not that valuable, but I do like decorating with sunflowers in the summer, so I put it in my cart to think for a while about whether or not I will take it home, and I did end up putting it back on the shelf. I noticed this Otagiri blue iris vase. I do think those are beautiful, very 1980s, but I have one of those already that I am trying to sell, so I left that one on the shelf. And then I noticed this little silver, beautifully designed casket trinket box. You can see there's a little bit of that red velvet interior, and I think that's really pretty, so I put that in my cart. And this vase really caught my fancy for a while. It is resin. It has this really beautiful design with very ornate detailed roses. So I mean, it was resin, so I put it back really heavy, but right here I'm distracted really quickly by this snakeskin vase with a kind of an interesting glaze. I actually, in retrospect, I kind of like it a little better than I might have at the time. And then I notice this pottery vase. It probably has some age. I probably should have looked a little closer at that, but I didn't look at it too long. And here I am, still coming back to that roses vase. There were just so many really cool and different vases at this trip that there was so much to look at. I really was, I think, a little bit overwhelmed. This obviously is, again, a more contemporary piece, I believe, but with a really beautiful, maybe not, maybe it is a vintage piece, but that beautiful glaze is what drew me to that piece. And then I saw this large vase in the background. It is an English pottery piece, really large. And lovely hand-painted flowers on it. And so I had to look that over quite a bit and think about it. But I believe I might have ended up putting that back on the shelf at the end. Now I kind of regret it. I mean, look at that fun design. I don't know, it was really big, and I was probably thinking, oh, that's so huge, it's going to be hard to ship. I don't know, but I did put it in my cart for at least a little while. Here is a pretty Japanese peach lusterware sugar shaker. I did like it and its design, but again, why didn't I bring it home with me? I'm not totally sure. So much stuff to choose from, I guess. And this little hand-painted dish from Holland with the cutouts grabbed my attention for a minute. And then I was moving on to some more of the china that looked like it was probably Noritake. Something a little more contemporary. You can see that white milk glass compote right there. I didn't really even look at it. I honestly don't really do much with milk glass. I rarely actually really look at it. And here, the thing that finally grabs me is this little Czechoslovakian crab trinket dish. How cute is that? That went into my cart. And I pulled out this dish. It is also lusterware, peach lusterware on the inside with these delightful elephants, hand-painted elephants around the outside. And yes, I know it's the paint is worn on the outside, but I just fell in love with those elephants and the look of that dish. It was from Japan, and I decided I was going to give that a shot. Now, I love these crowded shelves, but they can sometimes throw me off. This beautiful pink footed dish with a reticulated edge unfortunately looked like it had a bit of a crack, but it was gorgeous. I put that back and then was taken by a ceramic breadboard that was really pretty design, but I don't think it was a very remarkable when I looked at the maker. Well, I shopped so long that it's nighttime now. But boy, did I have fun. I found a lot of really great vintage things. I basically just ran out of time. I think there was plenty more that I could have picked up if I had time to look at them and consider them and maybe do a little more research. So usually I put a few things back, the things I had a little bit of doubt about or maybe were a little more common. But I'm really excited, especially about the shoe box. I mean, I just think that's so cool. It reminds me of my dad. My dad used to shine his shoes, and I don't know that they make wooden shoe boxes anymore much. So I like that shoe box. I was excited about those wooden birds. I just love hand-carved wooden birds, and I do pretty well when I sell them. I was excited about the El Palomar candlestick, even though it was a single. I just think that it's gorgeous, and I think that I can definitely do well with that. Oh, what are some of the other things? Need the glasses. Oh, yeah. Really excited about the Dragon Ware pitcher. I have a few other pieces of Dragon Ware, and I tend to hoard them, so that's probably going to go into my hoard, but it was just lovely quality, and I was excited to see that. And finally, really happy to finally pick up a piece of Harley Davidson bling in the wild. I do live in the Milwaukee area, and to be honest, I really don't find Harley stuff very much out in the wild, so I think that'll do pretty well for me. So really quickly, I'm going to show you the sunset because it's just about gone and it's kind of pretty. See if I can get a good shot, and then I'm on my way home. So thanks so much for shopping with me today, and thrift on, brothers and sisters. We'll see you next time. Take care.